It feels like the time has never been better to be in the market for a mid-sized truck. The competition is fierce. The options are great and you almost can't go wrong no matter how you choose to spend your money. Which one would you buy if you had them all lined up? Let's take a look and see how they all stack up. Let's start with the one that gets talked about the least, the Nissan Frontier. Nissan reworked the Frontier back in 2022, and the result is a pretty darn great machine with good looks and a powerful engine for the segment. You get a 310 horsepower V6 under the hood. There's a 9-speed gearbox backing that up. And then you have a few trims that see the price range from just over $30,000 to a tick over $40,000. And that Pro 4X model is quite entertaining when you leave the pavement. That's because you've got all-terrain tires on 17-inch wheels, instead of Bilstein shocks, a locking rear diff, and skid plates. The Frontier gets overlooked, but it's a smart option, especially when pretty much everything else on this list will carry higher price tags and dealer markups. Next, let's take a quick look at the Colorado and its GMC Canyon cousin. When I first saw the initial photos of the Colorado, I thought the truck was over-designed. I still think that, but it definitely looks way better in person. Plus, the Canyon tones it down compared to the Colorado. The 2.7-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder does the heavy lifting across the board here, and it's cranking out a very impressive 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque in the Colorado ZR2. That output figure is standard on all versions of the Canyon, plus all Canyons get the wider, tougher stance that's optional as you rise up the trim levels of the Colorado. Additionally, once you climb to the higher spec Colorado ZR2 or the AT4X Canyon, Chevy and GMC swap on the incredibly impressive Multimatic dampers. These trucks have great interiors, a strong engine, and excellent running gear. You're gonna pay quite a bit for those upper level trucks though. So if you're thinking Chevy, keep an eye on the Trail Boss model, which starts under 40 grand. You don't get the Multimatics, but you do get 32-inch all-terrains, a bit of a lift, and you still get a limited slip rear diff. And you save 10 grand, which you can use for other upgrades down the road. Next up is the redesigned Ford Ranger. This thing looks great and also signals the arrival of the Ranger Raptor here in the States for the first time ever. The base 2.3-liter turbo EcoBoost makes 270 horsepower, which is a pretty good entry point for the segment. From there you have the twin turbocharged 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6, which pushes out 315 horsepower. And then you have the Raptor, which uses a 3-liter EcoBoost to deliver 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. Also, that Raptor gets the Fox live valve shocks, the new KO3 tires from BF Goodrich, and then locking front and rear diffs, which is one of the best ways to level up in the off-road space. Moving on, we land at the just debuted Toyota Tacoma. This one looks to retain its kingdom at the top of the mid-sized truck market. It plans to do so with scaled-down Tundra styling, a completely updated interior, and a pair of engine options that both sound well-suited to the truck. The base engine is the iForce 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. This one produces just 228 horsepower for the base SR trim, but rises to 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque for the other trims where it's offered. However, there's the iForce Max Hybrid, which could be a game changer in this segment. This one makes 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. That's a ton of torque for a mid-sized truck. Also interesting is that Toyota will offer a manual on a number of trims with its gas-only engine option. And Toyota will continue to offer a 2-door extra cab body style, which might be appealing to a number of truck buyers. The real newsmakers, though, are both the TRD Pro and the Trailhunter models. Both are rocking 33-inch all-terrain tires, and both appear well-suited to different types of off-road adventure. The TRD Pro appears ready to tackle anything thrown its way, while the Trailhunter is incredibly well set up for overlanders. Both of those models will command serious money in the space, so savvy truck buyers would be smart to keep an eye on the price of the TRD off-road model and then sort out further upgrades in the aftermarket. Finally, I have to mention the Jeep Gladiator. This one has been around mostly unchanged for some time now. Still, it's a Jeep, which means it's incredibly capable at basically every level it's offered. It looks cool, even if the bed has the least amount of utility compared to the others I've mentioned here, and the 285 horsepower V6 is still hanging on. It will be great to see how Jeep updates this thing, especially if we can get both a 392 version and the 4xe hybrid as well, but each of those would likely push the price tag to segment-busting levels. Regardless, it's a cool truck that can conquer a whole lot when you're off the beaten path. So which one of these trucks would you pick if you were spending the money? I have a good idea on which one I'd take, but I'm curious to read the comments about which one you think deserves your dough.